Time for the medal exchange tier list for December of 2022, the last one of the year, so let's get to it. 2 more new World Journey units are added and 2 are actually only remaining, Sabo and Koala, while Marco and Ace are added this month. We are probably going to see Sabo and Koala in January's shop, and after that we do not actually know if the World Journey units will keep being permanent. But for now they are, and all of the World Journey units available here will also be available in the next month's exchange. As always, let's quickly rank them. We are going to of course have all of the 3 first ones, Luffy, Nami and Zoro in the not worth tier. Then Sanji and Reiju will follow them. Boa, Mihawk, Crocodile and Vivi will go to the good but not really worth tier. Rebecca is the only one that's probably worth so far, and then Ace and Marco, the new ones, will also go to the good but not really worth tier. To expand a bit on Marco and Ace, they are unique units. They essentially either give you an ore boost or an attack boost. Then they also give you the same boost but for a higher multiplier in 2 turns. And they also extend the opposite boost of what they give you in duration. So if one gives an ore boost, he extends attack boost and vice versa. The boosts are also only for 2 classes and they don't provide utility in their special. Even though they are very unique units on paper, they are not must-have by any means, and even though I do have both of them, I actually haven't used them in a long while. With that out of the way, let's now place every World Journey unit in the permanently available tier because we will see them again next month. And let's move on to the rare recruit support units. They also seem to be permanently available, but I won't add them to the permanently available category. I will instead leave them in the respective tiers. But because they are rare recruit characters that are pullable from pretty much every single Sugofest, even if they are a very decent support, I cannot place them over the good but not really worth tier, simply because if you are patient enough, sooner or later you are going to get that unit. Of course, if some unit escapes you for the longest time, or you are against a piece of content where you absolutely need a unit in order to clear it and you do not have it, you might as well pick them up. It's not the worst thing ever, but if you are new and you don't have multiple of these units, don't go out of your way to get 5 or 6 of them. It's not worth it to spend all those medals, especially if we consider that these supports here are situational. You are not going to use them in every piece of content. So even if a support is very good, maybe in some content it's not even going to be relevant to have it. Now with that out of the way, let's quickly place them in the tier list. White Bay, Lafitte and Kobe, good but not really worth, all pretty decent supports. Daruma Hyozu, V1, Ichiji and Niji in the not worth tier, either very niche supports or they are attached to characters that we don't see have a lot of units in the game. Then we have Sanji, Kanjuro and Raizo, all in the good but not really worth tier as well, decent supports. And the 2 new ones added this month, Carrot and Beppo. Beppo 100% in the good but not really worth. He's an exceptional unit to attach on low and even help you in super bosses for Kizuna, because if you hit a perfect with low, then he removes 1 turn of threshold, and now that in Kizuna, either in super boss we see only 1 turn of a debuff, or in the normal boss, we see 1 turn of a debuff being added after level 30, Beppo can be the game changer of you removing that 1 extra turn. So he's definitely a very good support to have. On the other hand, Valentine Carrot is not necessarily bad, but is outdated. She can remove 2 turns of chain coefficient reduction, which you will never use her for, it's useless, but she can also remove 2 turns of chain lock. Better removal, but at the same time, with the evolution of chains, with chain boundaries, the unique chain boosting we see, and all of the units that can now help you bypass a chain lock or remove it completely, I don't think the 2 turns from Carrot will be that useful. You of course never know in One Piece Treasure Cruise, but she is definitely not at the level of usefulness that the other supports are, so I will place her in the not worth tier. Then we see the seasonal specific limited rare recruits, this time for Christmas of course, and we get limited rare recruit Christmas Law, Bonnie, Rayleigh and Tashigi, and then treasure map Christmas rare recruits Robin, Nekomamushi and Chopper. All of them are here for collection purposes, they are not worth it and they are not going to be helpful to you in quests. The only quest ever that they might even be slightly useful to you is the Christmas event we get against Wapol, where we gather cotton candy. And the reason they can be useful there is normally they are boosted units and they give you extra drops, hence why they can be useful, but they are not necessary to have by any means, especially obviously for 100 medals. For the legends now, for 150 medals we have V2 Fujitora and V2 Low. For V2 Fujitora I will place him, I think, in the decent only for level limit break tier. The main reason being his special upgrade. As a captain, even with level limit break in my opinion, he sucks, but his special turns him into, I don't want to say exactly an int sunk screw, but he can give you a 3.5 times chain lock for 3 turns, so close to the sunk screw, and he can also deal multiple hits of damage to random enemies, so that can help you break barriers that need multiple hits to break. He can make block slots but only on slasher characters into matching, and then he can also delay, which is not that great. For you to get that special ability, you need to of course have him at the maximum level limit break level, which is not the best, but I still cannot just ignore it because the 3-turn chain lock can definitely see uses. Still not an incredible unit though, so do not rush to level limit break him or something. You can definitely do it through natural progression whenever you get him from rewards or just Sugofests in general. A very similar thing applies to V2 Low. I will of course place him alongside Fujitora in the decent only for level limit break tier. As a captain, he doesn't become one of the best cerebral captains, especially if you have Super Tandem Low. He's not even that amazing. He's not bad though as a captain. His special though becomes way better, because now he can reduce 2 turns of barrier, whichever barrier you see on the enemy. Then he can reduce special cooldown on everyone by 1. He can reduce bind and despair by 5. Deal damage to the enemy, which is not the best, but it can help with some supports perhaps. And then he can boost the ore boost for cerebral units by 2.5 times, a very good ore boost, and the base attack for cerebral characters by 500, which is not the best, but if you need something else he provides to get that on top, especially if you cannot add a base attack booster in your team, it's definitely not a horrible thing. Just like Fujitora, in order to get all of those things in his special, you need to have him at maximum level limit break. Fun fact, his sailor abilities also are better with maximum level limit break. He gives you a boost in base attack by 100, not 50, and he makes RCV and TND slots as a sailor, matching for everyone, not only himself. Just like Fujitora though, you shouldn't be exactly rushing the level limit break levels on this low, even with his obvious upgrade. In my opinion, the medal shop is more to get units you do not have first, and then you can also maybe focus on level limit breaking units, but also have in mind that the big Sugofest is coming to One Piece Treasure Cruise at the end of the year, so you never know, maybe you see multiple copies of old legends there to use for level limit break alongside other new units. So for this medal exchange especially, I would highly advise you to wait to spend your medals until the end of the month. Next we move on to the 250 medal legends. First we have V2 Zoro. I will be honest, I love Zoro, but this unit is just a miss unit. I will place it in the not worth tier, and I will explain you exactly why. First of all, he does have a level limit break. He becomes better with his level limit break, as majority of the units. For his captain ability, he does become better. He's not extraordinary as captain, he's a slasher centric unit of course. And for his special, on top of his damage, the RCV TND slots matching for 3 turns, and the attack boost, he can now also manipulate block slots. In the right column they become int, in the left column they become dex, and as a captain he makes those slots matching of course and boosts the units with those slots more. But the thing is now that if you have either Perona or Mihawk in your crew, he also can boost the color affinity of slashers. He does that for 3 turns as well. All of that sounds nice, but you need to be in a situation where in the first place you are going to use Zoro. For him to be captain, it's going to be hard because he only boosts slashers, he's not a super class or a super type unit, so you definitely have better options in majority of cases. And then if you want a color affinity boost, you either need a Mihawk in your crew or a Perona. Perona, fun fact, outside of the Mihawk Perona unit, because it's a dual unit and also has Mihawk, only has one slasher unit in the game. And that is Moria Perona, she's not even alone in that unit, and that is a free-to-play Pirate Rumble unit. Mihawk obviously has more slashers in the game because he's Mihawk, but to build around the quest and build around this Zoro at the same time, after maxing his level limit break, while his cost here is 250 medals by the way, it's just not ideal in my opinion, so I don't really think he's worth it or is that great of a unit. Next up we have Capone. He does not have a level limit break yet, he does have a super evolution, and I will only place him in the good but not really worth tier because he has the unique mechanic of Big Father, of gathering every unit in the crew into his castle and essentially also protecting them from one attack perhaps or blow away. Have in mind he can also give you an HP cut that way, which means you might activate some other super types of units you have available in your crew or super classes. But other than that, his attack boost is not the best anymore, his captain ability is definitely outdated. All in all, I'm certain with his level limit break he will be better, but for now I wouldn't spend the medals on him. 400 medals time now. We have 4 legends as always. First up, V2Viv Rebecca and V2 Shirahoshi Manseri, the Christmas dual units of course, and I will place Viv Rebecca in the good but not really worth, while Shirahoshi Manseri I will place in the probably worth tier. The reason for the placements, first of all I think that they are both good units. With V2Viv Rebecca they look very good on paper, but it's always something you are not going to use out of their kit or you do not want to use. So for example, they give an attack boost and an orb boost for Striker and Cerebrals. Maybe you want a better attack boost or a better orb boost from another unit in your team. And because they remove Special Bind, a lot of the time if you want them to remove Special Bind, you are forced to get both the attack boost and the orb boost. Their survivability with their swap can be pretty nice, with the chain boosting as well, and then they can remove 6 turns of bind, which can be useful, but not the best debuff removing thing in the world. You can find it from other units / supports. They are definitely not bad, I just do not think that for 400 medals they are the best decision. V2 Shirahoshi Manseri on the other hand is a tier above them because they have tons of utility and they can be helpful in many different situations. They can remove paralysis, poison, RCV down and blindness completely, even of course making poison slots into matching. They can reduce despair and burn for 7 turns, very good despair removal. And while they do all that, they can also give you a full board of rainbow slots, a very good chain boost at 1.2, and then also give you healing. Even their swap can allow overheal and give you more utility. Don't expect of course to need all of that utility in one single quest, but just because of their variety and how good they can be when you need specific utility from their kit, they're definitely a strong unit. All of that of course, as a crewmate, as a captain, they're not really that great. Next up we have Ulti and Page 1, I will place them in probably worth. They are one of the best conditional attack boosters in the whole game. They cannot be stopped by immunity because their conditional attack boost is based off of boss's HP. With their swap, they can provide you with chain boundaries, which is very good, but of course they do have downsides. They need you to meet the criteria of having either a powerhouse or a driven captain. You need 6 swaps before you access the super swap, and they also can manipulate slots, but not through block slots. Essentially, not every situation or not every team needs you to have Ulti and Page 1, so I can't say they're 100% worth it. And the final unit for this month's medal exchange is V2 Frankie, General Frankie, or the dual unit of Frankie and Chopper. Whatever you may call them, they are a strong unit. I will place them in the probably worth tier. I don't think any unit in this month's medal exchange is 100% worth it. This unit can remove both attack down and burn from their captain ability, so very good utility there, one of the 2 units in the game that can remove attack down alongside the new 8.5 anniversary Scabbard unit. They can provide a universal color affinity boost with their swap, and then an attack boost and an orb boost for different classes, but it is easy for units to combine these classes for 2.5 times with their special alongside healing and poison removal. Being able to get a color affinity boost, an attack boost and an ore boost from only one unit is actually pretty strong, especially considering the fact that they can remove attack down, one of the most common debuffs in the game, from their captain ability, and allows you to have team flexibility for other utility or extra damage you might need in the team. Of course, they still have the classic dual unit disadvantages, where if you are in their separate forms, they give you a lower attack boost than they do in their combined form. And for this unit specifically, one side removes attack down, the other removes burn, and then the combined version removes both, so you need to plan your swaps correctly. And with them being a dual unit, they are not a super type or a super class unit either. That concludes the tier list video for this month's medal exchange though. If you have any questions, as always, you can tell me in the comments below, and you can also share your medal exchange spending plans in the comments with everyone else. If you enjoy these videos, definitely leave a like, I would really appreciate it, and for more to come in the future, subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.